What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Gonna break down the second round of the Western Conference featuring one of the best players in basketball, Luka Doncic, aka Larry Bird 2.0, taking on Shai Gilgeous. One of the best kept secrets in the NBA, a guy that don't get a lot of accolades. He's a guy that, when you talk about the top players in the game, his name is rarely mentioned. Maybe he's now starting to get his just due. I'm starting to hear his name mentioned a little bit more, but still, his name is not prominently mentioned when you talk about the top players in the NBA. His team wasn't on one primetime ABC Saturday night game, coming off a year where they showed a lot of promise. They won their first play-in game, and then they lost to Minnesota in the second play-in game to get into the playoffs. And they used that to catapult into having the best record in the Western Conference. A Western Conference that's very, very deep, have a lot of quality teams. Just look at the teams that didn't even come out of the play-in. Quality teams like the Golden State Warriors, of Sacramento Kings. New Orleans and the Lakers were able to come out of there, and both of those teams lost pretty much without extending the series. The Lakers lost to Denver in 5 games, and the New Orleans Pelicans were swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this matchup between OKC and Dallas is going to be a very, very interesting matchup. This is a true 50-50 matchup. But I like the Oklahoma City Thunder's balance. I like their bench. I like their coach, a very good young coach, a rising star as a coach. You're going to be hearing about this guy during this series and after this series, in my opinion, as the OKC Thunder will be in the Western Conference Finals. I think the Dallas Mavericks are just too top-heavy, relying on 2 guys to carry the offensive load. You got 2 of the most devastating scorers in the NBA, and Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. But after that, when you go to the third option, there's a big, big gap in between those 2 players and your third best player. Now, Tim Hardaway Jr., if he's able to get back in this series, he would definitely help the Dallas Mavericks out, get them in that third option. Now, P.J. Washington has been the guy that they've been looking to be that third option. His defense has been much improved since when he came from Charlotte Hornets, where he was known there as the offensive player, not too much of a defensive player. I really was impressed on the defense that he played in the Los Angeles Clippers series. So he seems to be buying into the defensive system that Jason Kidd has implemented, and he has took on that role as a third option. But they're going to need to have a third and fourth option, whether it's Tim Hardaway Jr., third option, and P.J. Washington, fourth option, or vice versa. P.J. Washington, third option, and Tim Hardaway Jr., the fourth option in a given game. Because Oklahoma City is deep and talented. They got, in my opinion, the second guy that's going to finish in the MVP race behind Luka Doncic. They got him. They also have Giddey. They got Williams, the Williams brothers, the one starting, the one coming off the bench. They got Wiggins coming off the bench. They've got Chet Holmgren, who finished second in the Rookie of the Year. I didn't agree with that. I thought he should have finished first. He had great numbers just like Wemby, and his team finished in first, whereas Wembanyama team finished dead last. But Wembanyama is a guy that the NBA is definitely setting up to be the face of the NBA. He's going to have the international audience along with the U.S. audience. Between him and Anthony Edwards, those 2 guys are the front runners to be the face of the NBA and taking that throne from LeBron James. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Oklahoma City going to be looking to run. They're going to be looking to push the pace. And the one thing that Luka Doncic was able to get away with in this last series against the Clippers, he was able to hide on defense. He was able to get on Zubac, the center for the Clippers, and kind of hide out on defense. He ain't going to be able to hide on defense versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's going to have to guard somebody that's a threat out there, because all 5 guys in the starting lineup are threats to score, or guys that can create offense. And that's what's going to be a problem. So it's going to be a situation where the OKC Thunder are going to be looking to exploit whoever Luka Doncic is guarding. They're going to try to go right at him. They're not going to allow Luka Doncic to rest on defense and just play offense. Same thing goes with Kyrie Irving, who I thought did a great job versus James Harden. Everybody knows that James Harden likes to go left. In this last series that the Mavs won when they defeated the Clippers in 6 games. You know, James Harden, a.k.a. the Beard, likes to go left, and Kyrie Irving did a good job of making James Harden go right and cutting off that left penetration to the basket. He did a great job of that. This time, I wonder who they're going to put him on this time. Maybe they put him on Shai Gilgeous, and he tries to pay Shai Gilgeous and try to slow him down on the perimeter, and they put some of their other defenders to try to slow down Jamal Williams and Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet Holmgren is going to be an interesting guy that they're going to have to deal with, man. I think this is going to be the series where you're going to see Lively off the bench getting a lot of minutes, man. I think he matches up better with Chet Holmgren than Gabbert. I think Gabbert is a guy that's a physical player, a guy that knows how to play defense in the post, but he doesn't have the athleticism. And Chet Holmgren just take him outside and take him off the dribble all day long. So I think this is a series you're going to see Lively play a little bit more. The backup center out of Duke for the Dallas Mavericks. They'll be looking to match him up with Chet Holmgren. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to have some success. Because if he's able to have some success and slow down Chet Holmgren and basically take away the Thunder number 2 option, then the Dallas Mavericks could win this series. Because I have this series going 7 games. I got the Oklahoma City Thunder winning this series 4-3. It's going to be a good series. It could go either way. You know, you could argue the fact that the Dallas Mavericks could possibly have the 2 best players in this series. And that's no slight on Gay Childress. That's no slight on Childress. Shai Gilgeous, my bad as I butcher his name. There's no slight on Shai Gilgeous, who's had a better year than Kyrie Irving and arguably had a better year than Luka Doncic, who, in my opinion, will finish in the top 3 in the MVP ballot. You know, you got Luka be number 2. Well, I think Shai Gilgeous could be number 2. This is going to be 2-3. This is going to be Shai 2, Luka 3, or Luka 2, Shai 3. But Nikola Jokic is going to be the guy that wins the MVP this year. His team is in a world of trouble, down 0-2 to an athletic, deep, long Minnesota Timberwolves team. We'll see if they'll be able to show their championship pedigree and get back in that series Friday night in the Target Center. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But this is a great matchup. When these playoffs first were underway, that being the second round of the NBA playoffs, I looked at all but one series as that 50-50 series. You know, I think Boston going to take care of business with Cleveland. I might do a video on that series, man. I got a surprise on what I think going to happen, but I do think Boston going to win that series. But I got a little surprise about this series that many people may not be looking at. But that series was the only one I see that was a clear-cut favorite that shouldn't be going too long. But these other 3 series are 50-50 series, so I thought. But it seemed like Minnesota about to beat Denver in short order. You know, I still think Denver could possibly go to Minnesota and maybe get 1, but I think getting 2 games in Minnesota is a tall task the way Minnesota is playing. You know that arena is going to be rocking, and it's going to be a tough atmosphere for the Denver Nuggets. They definitely want to play their best playoff basketball game that they've played so far this year. Because you look at the Lakers series, they won that series, but they did not play their best basketball. They did not play a complete 4 quarters against the Los Angeles Lakers. Outside of Game 3, well, they played probably their best out of the 5 games with Game 3 in LA. They pretty much won that game going away, but even in that game, they had too many turnovers, and they struggled in the first half, and they was able to stifle the Lakers offense and kind of pull away with that game. That's probably one of their better defensive performances, but as far as offense, defense, that wasn't a great performance either. So they definitely going to have to play much better than they played in that Lakers series to get Game 3 Friday night. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But I do like Oklahoma City to get by the Dallas Mavericks 4-3. I think they got the more balanced team. They got more weapons. I think they're going to exploit the fact think that Luka Doncic is a defensive liability out there. Whoever he guards out there, they're definitely going to try to go at him and make him play defense and try to wear him down. And they got multiple defenders that they can put on Luka Doncic. They got Dort they can put on him. They got Williams they can put on him. They got guys off the bench they can put on him, and Wiggins. You know, you might even see Chet Holmgren with his length maybe on Luka at times, man. But I think they're probably going to use Chet to kind of play in the paint and try to press Luka Doncic, make him go to the basket and let Chet Holmgren come over from the weak side and try to alter a block Luka's shot. But you don't never see Luka get his shot blocked that much. For a guy that's not that athletic and a guy that really gets in the paint, he's so crafty, man. But you very rarely see him get his shot blocked. He is very crafty around that rim, man. Kind of like Larry Bird, man. You never saw Larry Bird get his shot block a lot, you know, when he played for the Celtics, man. You know, Larry Bird would get to the bag. He had a great outside shot, but he could go to the basket and finish with either hand, and he very rarely got his shot blocked, man. He was just, those great players, man, they know how to finish in traffic, man. And that's one thing that Doncic is great at, just like Larry Bird was great at in his heyday. So we will see what happens. And we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts on who you like in this matchup. Do you like the Dallas Mavericks, who I think probably going to be the favorite when you listen to these people on TV? A lot of them going to probably pick Dallas based on if they beat the Clippers. And they got Luka Doncic, who's a more popular player. Got Kyrie Irving, who's been in a lot of big games, won the championship. They probably going to take them with being a more veteran, more seasoned team over the young upstart Oklahoma City Thunder. But I just like Oklahoma City, man. I like their balance, man. I like their overall depth. I think they got the more talented roster. And despite the fact that some people might say that Luka's going to be the best player in this series, I don't think that's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be the best player in this series. Shai Gilgeous could very well be the best player in this series. This guy is silky smooth, a pure scorer, knows how to put that ball inside that cup. And cup runneth over, man, because that boy is, I think he was leading the league in scoring, if I'm not mistaken. What he leading the league in scoring? Did he lead the league in scoring this past season? I think so. And he's got a number 2 option in Chet Holmgren. And he's got a bunch of guys that are capable of putting up big numbers, man. I just like their overall roster. The only thing that they lack is size, but they ain't really got to worry about that so much with Dallas. Dallas has got a little size, but they ain't like they got size like Minnesota or even the Lakers. They don't have that type of size. Even size like Denver, they don't have that type of size. They got a couple of guys at the front court that's kind of long and gathered and lively. But they got Chet Holmgren, man, and I think Gabbard ain't going to be able to play against Chet Holmgren. I think he's too athletic, too skilled for him. So I think, like I said earlier, I think he's going to see Lively play a lot of minutes to match up with Chet Holmgren. So I don't think that Dallas presents some problems that's going to give Oklahoma issues. I don't see that. I think the matchup is good for Oklahoma City. And then once they get by Dallas, if they get by Dallas, they play Minnesota, then their lack of size, lack of big bodies, yeah, it could come into play playing somebody like Minnesota or Denver. But we just have to wait for that if that's the matchup in the Western Conference Final, which I do believe they make it in 7 games against the Dallas Mavericks. They win that series in 7 games. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, JB Sports. Follow me on TikTok, JB Sports New Media. Follow me on Twitch, Briscoe John 77071. Follow me on my 2 channels, JB Sports, The Man, The Myth, The Legend, 9656. At JB Sports, The Man, JB Sports, The Man, The Myth, The Legend, 9656. And I got another channel at JB Sports 3303. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, The Man, The Myth, The Legend. And I holla.